D Cube Day. That's David DeCosmo Day in the city of Scranton. David, all your friends are here to thank you and to remember you for all the great work you've done. And it is appropriate that the day we would honor you and the moment we honor you, there's a fire 4 blocks away. So there's a news story to be covered. We first want to show the disc, and then we're going to ask a lot of the people come up and talk about their friendship with you and their relationship with you. Okay, Frank?
That's been tentatively scheduled for October the 8th. There's still a major question as to legal representation for him at that time. Banks was arraigned on 5 of the murder charges at the Plains Township Municipal Building today before Magistrate Joseph Gillespie, and everyone attending the proceedings was required to be searched. The homeowners who sold out and left Centralia are gone and relocated, but it didn't work that way for many of the business places. Because of the expenses of operating a business, we're told many of those that closed didn't reopen anywhere else. They're gone for good. David DeCosmo, News 22 with you in Centralia.
The river seems calm and harmless now, but each time it rises, especially during a storm, many survivors of Agnes remember and wonder if it will ever happen again. David DeCosmo, News 22, Luzerne County.
Well, Mayor Jim Connor says it'll mean a lot more to the entire area and especially to the downtown. Scranton Councilman Brian Leap says the governor talked with Congressman Don Sherwood about the bridge shortly after our interview. And as the capsule from the Casey's opened over there, just across the street, construction work continues on the new Hotel Conference Center. Developers say there'll be a time capsule in this building too. The commissioners envision putting the tribute to Miller somewhere here on the Adams Avenue side of the Lackawanna County Courthouse, just about a block away from the apartment he had for many years. Ironically, work got started this year on part of the flood protection system. It involves bridge closures, 2 of them. But as far as the levee itself, that is yet to come. So the question facing flood victims right now is how much, if any, financial help might be available. Scranton, David DeCosmo, WYOU News. But the Gorge has been the scene of many fatal swimming accidents, and so, for many years now, it has in essence been off limits to the public. Runners may have no time to stop along the trail, but those taking a leisurely stroll can certainly enjoy the sights, including those from this newly built platform overlooking the tunnel where Steamtown excursion trains come through. It won't take long to finish this construction project on the slide, and if everything goes according to plan, it'll be open for the public by late next week. This is a new rig. The city had several up last year, and Scopellini tells us all of those will be in place again too.
But would you venture up here to the 2nd floor of City Hall on some dark night? Nothing to really be afraid of, is there? Yeah, you know what? I just remembered something I have to do. Maybe another time. In Carbondale, David DeCosmo, WYOU News.
David, I would like to ask County Commissioners Corey O'Brien and Mike Washoe to please come up.
Yeah, go ahead. You go first. David, it's great to be here with you today. I couldn't help but think about you, not just as a news person, but really as an historian. You've been kind of a keeper, not only of our history, but of our myths during these past decades. You came along with black and white TV, probably, somewhere along the way. And you didn't have to change your name. You didn't have to change your style. You didn't have to change your diet. You didn't have to change your look or your appearance. You were just you. And we didn't have to come to you with stories. You knew what was going on. And before we came to you, you came to us. And you afforded all of us, whether we were minority, majority, or whatever, to have a chance to go on the air if we had the courage to go on the air. And it's easy when you're in political life to complain about what you don't get, the publicity you don't get, or the fairness that you feel may sometimes be missing. But you gave an open mic to public officials to say what was on their minds, to advance their ideas, their ideals, their dreams, their aspirations, and even their pettiness from time to time. And I'm one that had a chance to experience all that, thanks to you. And I want to say thank you very much for being David DeCosmo all those years and being true to the mission and true to the job and true to the people, the listeners who depended upon getting the real story, and you certainly gave it to them. Sometimes I wish you weren't giving them the real story along the way, but you did it, and you did it well, and it's great to be able to be here with your friends and colleagues to congratulate you and thank you for a job well done. Corey O'Brien.
David, you're a treasure to Northeastern and Central Pennsylvania. We've relied on you for your your hard-hitting kind of questions that you'd always ask, and for the trust that you would deliver into our living rooms each night for many, many years. I remember as a kid growing up, tuning in, I'd be sitting at the dinner table, and my parents always had that television on, so we're always kind of, now I try not to do that. I try to turn the TV off during dinner, so at least we get a little time where we can share what's going on in our day, but we used to have the television on, so we'd be watching over our shoulder as you were reporting for so many years, and just thought of you as the trusted news source in Northeastern Pennsylvania. And your legacy will live on here for a very long time. You are a man of great integrity, a man of great devotion to our community, hard-hitting, never letting us get by, always calling us, hey, I'm hearing a rumor out there, is it true? And by the way, I'm on my way over to talk to you on the record about it. So you rarely gave us much time to really think about what we were going to say. You kind of just ended up showing up with the microphone. Oh, you don't mind, in a very nice way. Hey, you don't mind if we talk to you about this? And then it'd be a very difficult question, and you're kind of catching us off guard. But you were always fair, and you always took the side of the people. And that's something that I think will be your legacy throughout this region. You are a part of the fabric of our community, and you will certainly be remembered here as a treasured, loyal news source from Northeastern Pennsylvania. And it's with great pleasure and great pride that Mike Washoe and I, along with A.J. Munchak, proclaim the 28th day of April 2009 as David DeCosmo Day in Lackawanna County. So if you'd please come up here.
Thank you very much. I got the whole county now. Guy doesn't usually work this late. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Mayor Connors?
Dave DeCosmo, as my wife, all of you know, Susie's Jewish, and there's a word that the Jewish people use. It's called a mensch. A mensch is a nice man. That's what David DeCosmo is, a nice man. But he's also a professional, and he also gets the story, and he gets it right. And I always told everybody in my cabinet, if David is covering the story, listen to what he says, because he's got it right. He always has it right. And now we talk to one another as grandpa to grandpa. And I want to tell you, Dave, the people of Northeastern Pennsylvania love you, truly love you for what you've done for them for all these years. So thank you. I don't have a gift for you, Dave.
Roseanne, would you like to come up? As someone who's been here and seen many things over the years and shared a lot of time with David.
I just want to repeat what I said to David. He is a treasure to our region. Fair, always fair. He never really went for the juggler. He always did the right thing, weighed every story, and as a political figure, we're always grateful for that. David, you will certainly be missed, and I wish you much happiness. Thank you.
Thanks, Roseanne. Lou, would you like to come up?
Well, David, my speech is about a half hour, 45 minutes or so, just bear with me. You know, David, I've been in this business for about 30 years, as you probably know. Most of those years, as you can all tell by my accent, have been in New York City and working for a couple of TV stations in New York. In so doing, I came across many reporters and people that were on air and talent, as they call them, and I had the fortunate pleasure of coming up to Northeast PA back in 2001 and joining WBRE and WYOU in January of 2007. So in the 2.5 years or so that I've worked with you and had the pleasure of meeting you, I can tell you in all honesty, you're one of the best. When I compare them to the folks, when I compare you to the folks that I've worked with in the past, your integrity, your professionalism, your honesty, and you being David was a truly an honor and a blessing for me to be associated with you, and I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you.
Well, David, as you can tell, you're loved by everybody and you'll be missed by all. And in this building especially, because this really was your beat. You really were the City Hall guy. And I look at the bridge picture that we had there, the East Market Street Bridge. And people don't know this, but David was the one who challenged Governor Ridge and said, when are you going to release these funds so we can get this bridge fixed? And we always said we'd name the bridge after him. I got to figure out how to do that some way, but one day they'll just appear, you know, we'll just have a plaque up there. But John Moses, would you like to come up and say a couple words for your good friend, David DeCosmo?
Mayor, thank you. You know, I didn't know that I was going to be asked to say anything, but I think it's interesting that David received a plaque, because I got to tell you a story. In 1974, when Governor Schaap was the governor, I represented the Pennsylvania State Police pro bono. And they were very difficult years. They were the quota years, et cetera. So I finally got a call from the governor's secretary, Nancy Hudak, who happened to be the daughter of Gene Hudak, the clerk of courts in Luzerne County. She said, the governor wants to honor you at a dinner in Harrisburg and make you an honorary member of the Pennsylvania State Police. I said, geez, that's great. She said, now, do you want him to give you a badge or do you want him to give you a plaque? I thought about it for a minute. I said, geez, my mother didn't raise a dummy. I wanted a badge. And I wanted to put the badge in my wallet next to my driver's license. So not long after going to Harrisburg in a nice event and Governor Schaap being kind and giving me the badge, I'm driving to Williamsport with my wife, trying a murder case out there, and I figured she'd accompany it. And I'm driving, I'm going pretty fast. I hope this is off the record. So my next story better be off the record. And my wife was saying to me, slow down, Johnny, slow down. I said, will you please keep quiet? I got the badge. And I'm going faster. Slow down, Johnny, slow down. I said, Joyce, please, I've got the badge. Well, wouldn't you know it, all of a sudden the sirens. I look in the rearview mirror, and there's a Pennsylvania State Police car. And so I pull to the side. I look in the rearview mirror, and the biggest, toughest, meanest state trooper you'd ever want to see comes to the side of the car, and he says to me, show me your license. So I proudly take out my wallet, and I show him my license, and I show him my badge. And he told me what I could do with the badge. And my wife said, thank God they didn't give you a plaque. So Dave, be very careful about the plaque. You know, because I didn't know I was going to speak. Let me tell you about the first time I met Dave, and this really has to be off the record. Please. Well, the statute of limitations is run. Dave knows this story very well. There was a guy in Wilkes-Barre who was a perennial thief, but he was a benign thief. Never hurt anybody, but he'd steal stuff. He'd steal the craziest stuff. If he stole shoes, it would be size 1, 2, and 3, size 19 and 20. I said to him, Mikey, a circus has to come to town for you to sell what you stole. Well, one day I get a phone call from his cousin. He said to me, look, my cousin is charged with hijacking a truck. And it has a truckload of suits. He has no money, but he has 4 suits your size. So I figured these have got to be ugly suits because this guy never stole anything worth anything, and I had no money at the time. I couldn't afford tailor-made suits at the time, as Dave knows. So I said, okay, have him come up and have him bring the suits. Now fast forward about 6 months. The bishop calls me, Bishop McCormick, and he says to me, Father Burns said that you would represent us pro bono. There's a kid that we recruited to play football at Bishop Hoban High School who was at Myers. And now we're notified he can't play for a year. He has to sit out a year because of the PIAA rules. Dave will remember this case. My first time I met Dave DeCosmo. So I prepare an injunction to stop all sports in Pennsylvania with this argument that this regulation was unconstitutional on its face and as applied because it violated equal protection of the law. It violated the rights of the Catholic schools. And then the second page of the injunction, I asked for a hearing for 4 or 5 weeks down the road. I figured I'm not going to get the judge to stop all sports in Pennsylvania, but I might talk him into giving me a hearing in 4 or 5 weeks, and at least this young guy can play football for 4 or 5 weeks, and he won't be upset that they recruited him at Bishop Hoban. So it's pouring rain outside. I'm still single. It's 1972. My father says to me, I'll drive you to the courthouse. I said, why? He said, it's pouring rain. So I figured I'll wear one of those stolen suits. I know it's got to be an ugly suit. And I figure I only have a couple of good suits. I'll wear this ugly stolen suit in the rain. So my father drives me to the courthouse. I run in the back door of the courthouse. Dave is there with all the press. I run in. Ask the secretary, do you see the judge in chambers? I walk up and I look at him and he looks at me. We both have the same suit on. Now he knows where, and Dave will tell you, this is a true story. He knows where I got my suit and I know where he got his suit. He sticks his hand out, doesn't say a word. He's staring at my suit. He takes my petition, and if you ask for an injunction based on constitutional grounds, you don't even have to tell the other side. He takes the injunction. He doesn't read the papers. He doesn't read the second page where I asked for a hearing for 4 or 5 weeks from now. He doesn't read anything. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. He takes the paper, he takes his pen, he's staring at my suit, and he signs the injunction. He just stopped all sports in the state of Pennsylvania. It's a Friday morning, no football in Pennsylvania. So Dave, I walk out, Dave shoves the microphone in my face. He said, what happened? I said, the judge just stopped all sports in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm a 26-year-old kid. I said, but it was a very rough argument there in front of the judge. You know, what the heck am I going to tell him? I go down. Now, because I did that, it's all over the state. So about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, the judge calls me up. Johnny! Yes, Judge. What the hell did you do to me? I said, what did I do to you? I handed you a petition. You signed it. If you'd have turned it over, you'd have seen I could have had a hearing in 4 or 5 weeks. He says, well, you're coming here at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I have the lawyers from the PIAA coming in from Philadelphia. And Dave will remember we had the hearing at 3 o'clock. I said, okay, Judge. He said, and change your damn suit. I said, okay. So that was truly my first experience with Dave DeCosmo. I didn't tell him the story about the suits until the next day, and then he verified it. I'm honored to be here with Dave. I've known Dave since the day I was admitted to practice. And I've handled 34 homicide cases in that time before I retired to go to St. Jude, and he covered every one of them. And he was the most honorable guy you'd want to know. The DA could say to him, Dave, I'll tell you something off the record, but please keep it off the record, and the defense lawyers would do the same. And when I tried Rocky Holiday, which was the first murder acquittal in Luzerne County since 1922, Dave gave me probably the best advice I ever received as a lawyer who was handling high visible cases. All the defendants would hide their face and run away from the cameras, or they'd cover their face with their jackets, and Dave said to me, look it, we're going to get pictures of Rocky one way or another. Do your client and yourself a favor. Instead of having him hide his face and run away from the cameras, tell me what way he's walking in. Just give us about 10 feet so that we can get some footage. Let him walk in like a gentleman, smile or not smile, whatever you want him to do, and it won't look like he's running away from us. I don't know if Dave remembers telling me that or not, but I took that advice and I followed it throughout my career. Because it was the truth. The cameras were going to get your guy's picture one way or another, and why make him look like a real hoodlum, covering his face or running away? I'm just thrilled to be here with Dave and his family. And Mayor, thank you for asking me to say something, even though I didn't expect it. You know, coming from Wilkes-Barre here, I thought I needed a passport, but they let me in anyway. But this is just an outstanding mayor, and Dave, you know that, and these county commissioners are doing such a terrific job. I'm honored that you asked me to say something about somebody who is truly a dedicated father, a devoted husband, a distinguished reporter, and a damn good friend. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, David, come on up. We'll make it official. It's a plaque. He doesn't need any badges. But David, you know, the years that you covered me, and you actually covered my father back here in the 70s. So think of the transitions. And the greatest compliment I can pay you is that not only did we work together as you covered City Hall, but you became my friend. And I admire you so much for, as Roseanne and Mayor Connors and I were saying, as Mike Washoe talked about, you really were the fair guy. You were the guy who always told the story as it was, never looked to benefit off someone else's misfortune, but did your job. You provided the people with the information they need. So today, April 28th, in the city of Scranton is David DeCosmo Day for all the reasons that have been talked about before. But the greatest reason is your character, because character defines a person, and persons of a character define a community. When the laughter of this day fades, your large heart and generosity will continue to inspire us. Thank you, David, on behalf of all the citizens of Scranton, for your service to Northeastern Pennsylvania, but your service to Scranton. Thank you. It's yours, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very, very much. I'm near speechless, but not quite. This is a great honor to me, and to see you folks here in particular, and my family, and my my close friends, and I think I'm so happy that I've been able to cover people on both sides of the political aisle and can call them all friends. That, I think, comes from trying to be fair, and that word has been mentioned, but it's what I hoped to be remembered for, if you will. And remembered for is an interesting phrase, because when next I made the decision to discontinue news on WYOU, it was a corporate decision, and I accepted it. I obviously was not real pleased about it, but I understand it. And my wife said, now you're going to hear from everybody, and you're going to people be coming by, and the phone is going to ring, and the emails are going to start, and it's happened, and now I realize I don't have to die. I've seen the wake. So this is good. Also, I'm not gone. I'm doing some things on Electric City TV right now, and if I may, Ron, may I mention, I've just been asked if I would co-host the Veterans, the Armed Forces Parade for WYOU, and I've accepted that challenge. So the Miata will have to stay parked that day, hon. We'll take care of the parade. I can't say enough about all these years. I've been looking through some video myself at home, and I have some of John Moses, and I have much of Jimmy Connors, and Rich Mates is here, and Rich has written some very nice things about me. Andy Palumbo is here from WNEP. Andy is a friend. Yes, has been a competitor, but is a friend and still is. And there are so many others that I'm sure could not be here today, and I have to thank everybody that I've worked with. It isn't me. I tried to be fair, but I needed people to be willing to work with me, and people always have been. I will remember this for a long, long time to come, and I'll be doing some of these things with WYOU. I thank you once again for this. Lou, I just wanted to mention one thing, sort of specifically to you, but really everybody take it back to the station, if you will, because I was reviewing the tapes, the old tapes. And you know what? From a WYOU, WDAU point of view, Long time ago, they were number 1, you know, they became number 2, they became number 3. We never lost a softball game to BRE or NEP. And I pitched every one of those games. Thank you.
We have refreshments in the back. Please, let's stay and we'll get something to eat and talk.